Good day everyone. Today we will be tackling about political parties and the development of the world. So political parties are central modern governance. They act as the intermediaries between citizens and the state, shaping policies, organizing elections, and influencing development. Their functions and qualities determine how effectively they can contribute to the democratic progress and global development. So, the political parties provide a structured way for citizens to participate in the political decision making, and they ensure that the diverse interests are represented by the government. And by this, they promote transparency, accountability, and state leadership. Political parties help strengthen democratic institutions and support sustainable national development. Political parties can perform several critical roles in the world development. First, they are the representation of the citizens, where parties gather different needs and opinions of the people and bring them to the government so everyone's voice can be heard. Second, they can be the electoral competition. They run campaigns, choose candidates, and give voters options, helping make leaders more responsible. Third, policy formulation. Parties create plans and programs that guide the country's progress, like improving the economy or providing social services. Fourth, mobilization and participation. They encourage people to vote, get involved, and stay informed, helping build a stronger democracy.
Effective political parties possess several key qualities that enable them to succeed in representing citizens and influencing policy. These qualities span organizational strength, ideological clarity, adaptability, and communication. Clear ideology and platform. A well-defined ideology helps a party attract and retain supporters. A comprehensive platform outlines specific policy goals. Strong organization and infrastructure. Effective parties have robust local national structures. They maintain consistent communication with members and voters. Effective leadership. Competent leader can articulate the party's vision.
Impact on world development. Political parties have played a significant role in shaping world development across different periods of history. They have been central to democratizations by guiding countries in their transitions from authoritarian rule to a more participatory democratic systems. During the era of decolonizations, nationalist parties mobilized people and led independence movements across Asia and Africa, helping establish self-governance after years of colonial rule. Political parties influences national instances on key global issues such as trade, climate change, and human rights, allowing countries to participate more actively in international affairs. Digital age, parties increasingly rely on social media and data-driven strategy to reach citizens, transforming political communications and participations.
During ancient Greece and Rome, there were early political factions, but they weren't real parties yet, just elite groups competing for influence. In medieval Europe, politics was controlled by monarchies and feudal systems. In the 18th century, modern political parties began to appear. In the United Kingdom, the Whigs and Tories became the first true political parties. In the United States, the Federalist and Democratic Republicans marked the start of organized party politics in a new democracy. This period showed how parties helped structure debates, elections, and citizen participation. By the 19th century, parties spread across Europe as industrialization created liberal, conservative, and socialist groups. In colonized religions, nationalist movements acted like early political parties, preparing the way for independence. Overall, political parties became important tools for mass participation and representing new social classes.
Early 20th century. This era was defined with the rise of mass parties, the socialist, communist, and the fascist, reflecting intense ideological battles. Following World War I and World War II, parties played a central role in national rebuilding, establishing the first comprehensive welfare states and creating modern global institutions like the UN. Mid-20th century, from the 1940s to 1970s, nationalist parties like the Indian National Congress and the ANC were the critical vehicles that successfully led independence movements across Africa and Asia. During the Cold War era, these new parties aligned their states with either the capitalist or socialist blocs, setting their long-term development strategies. On late 20th century, third wave of democracy during the 1970s and 1990s saw parties facilitating political transitions in Eastern Europe and Latin America. Simultaneously, globalization forced parties to adapt their platforms to handle transnational issues such as trade liberalization, environmentalism, and human rights. 21st century, which is the digital age, new movements. Parties embraced digital politics, relying heavily in social media, data analytics, and online mobilization. This period is marked by increased populism and fragmentation, where non-traditional parties challenge established structures. Parties must also lead debates on global development goals like climate change and inequality.
Conclusion, therefore, the political parties are indispensable to the world development. And you might be wondering why these political parties in 21st century are indispensable to the world development. That's the question here. So their functions of representation, the policy making, mobilization, and governance create the framework for democratic progress. Their qualities of transparency, inclusiveness, adaptability, and institutional strength determine whether they foster stability and growth or contribute to division and stagnation. So as the world faces challenges like climate change, inequality, and digital disruption, as I've said earlier, as aforementioned a while ago, for the impact in the political parties and its central governance to face certain pressure for grassroots, right, the NGOs and the digital activism. The world also faces these challenges that affects these political parties and its development all throughout across the world. This because of this having the digital age and new movements that we really need to adapt, because it is actually we are dynamically changing. So the evolution of these political parties will remain central to shaping this global the global development.